back to the conversation. We got a nice little group here on tonight. And we're going to jump right in it as always. Tonight, we're going to be talking about overcoming the holiday lows. And we're going to touch on some areas like finance, loss, and grief. And we just want to come together, have a real conversation about some real things concerning us in this season. And so I hope you guys enjoy the conversation. And if you like it, hit that share. If you have any questions that you want us to talk about, leave a comment and we're going to jump right into it. So I'm just going to start off with, how are you guys doing right now? Like, where are you guys at mentally? How you guys feeling out tonight? Oh, ladies first.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Epiphany here. To be honest, I have been extremely stressed during this holiday season, and I've been working to just put a few things in place in my regular schedule to help just help me to remember, that God is with me, and that all things are working for my good. Some days are easier than others, and some days are much, much harder than others. But every day is a day that I persist. And I think that is one thing. I guess I will start the conversation off with saying, like, every day is a day that we can persist. And when you get through those days that are not as easy as the other days, it teaches you the strength that you know or that you don't know that you have until you're actively just in motion and using it. So.
All right, I'll jump in next just a minute. In general, I'm doing well. I mean, I have a job, thank you, Lord. We've had to do a whole lot of changing around when it comes to our campus ministry season, but we've still been able to do it. Like, Jesus is still saving people. The gospel is still transforming lives, and folks are still growing and maturing in the person of Jesus. And then workers work retail wise. It's that time of year. People are coming out shopping. But again, of course, given the times we in, things are slightly different, but I can't say that I'm torn up because obviously this season's been different in a lot of ways, and that's a whole different conversation as a whole. But I mean, as a whole, I'd say I'm doing well because I'm fortunate for those who are around me.
Amen. Phil, how you doing?
Oh man, doing great actually. Just taking things one day at a time. Um, you know, making sure family is close, and with the video chatting and the FaceTiming, um, connecting with friends as much as possible. Via phone call, video chats, texting. Um, I'm able to work telehealth or through video chat, if you will, but I still see people in person. But with the whole spike thing going on, kind of pumping my brakes on that. Financially, which puts me in a pretty good financial place because I'm still able to work and everything. Doing some personal endeavors like business wise, entrepreneurial wise. So just staying busy, man, staying busy, staying positive, connecting with people, you know, spreading good energy because 2020's been 2020. But yeah, man, I'm good. Can't complain, won't complain. I'd be lying if I did.
Yeah, I'll say for me, I'm doing good too. I actually started a new project. I think I shared with a couple of you guys, but it's called Mindset, Lifestyle, and Narrative: Changing your mindset to change your life, and changing your life to change the narrative, to change the people around you. Sorry, I sound like I got a lisp. I just started to fix my teeth, so I have some stuff in there that's making me sound a little lisp. So, but other than that, yeah, God is blessing. God is doing good. Um, And that actually just this program has allowed me to really reach out and connect with people. And all this time I've been helping others and developing others has really, I'll say, matured me or got me to like a new level, because it's like something that like I'm not just putting out there, but like I'm actually like hands-on, put myself accountable and responsible for really getting people out of a either a low place or just get them to that next level if they're either good and getting to a higher level. So that's what God's been doing with me, and it's truly been blessing me, trying to be a blessing to others. But for tonight's conversation, I guess we'll start there, because I know some of y'all kind of mentioned like it's been hard to connect with people in this time. So how can we best stay encouraged in this season as we head into Thanksgiving and eventually Christmas? How can we stay encouraged? We're not gonna have the big Thanksgiving like we had before. We're not gonna be in contact with those close friends and family as often as we usually do. So how can we stay encouraged in this time?
Like Philip, even to learn how to call people up. If you can't go see them, at least call them up. Get on a little Zoom meeting like we're doing right now. Do something to make things work to where you can see people. And I mean, I'm in a situation where what I call my tent making job requires me to go out into the public, because that's just how retail works. Like I don't have the option of sitting in the house, because people still have to buy groceries. People still have to buy hardware supplies and all that stuff, because Walmart be selling all that. So therefore people have to come out and get it. So I have been able to do, like Philip even said, some face-to-face stuff, simply because, like I said, my job puts me out there in public so I can find ways around doing things, navigating safely.
Yeah, man. Can you repeat the question, Maurice?
Oh, I was gonna say, how can I guess how are you staying encouraged? I'll add that to it. How are you staying encouraged, and what can we do to encourage ourselves? Thanksgiving and Christmas is not like it was before. Loss of connection, loss of fellowship. What can we do to encourage ourselves in this time?
I guess I would say for me, just showing up, and staying among community, whether it's through Zoom, whether it's through a phone call, whether it's through social media interaction. I know that's one thing that's been helping. And I think one thing I can suggest that has been helping for me as well is just working to change my environment, and changing your environment doesn't necessarily mean like you got to go outside and you got to be all over, everywhere, but it could just be simply from moving from the room to moving to your living room, and just, taking a load off and just clearing your mind in another part of your house. But it's all about, just, just pushing past all of those negative feelings, really. And so the way that you push past those negative feelings is you do talk about it. You journal. I have different devotionals that I'm listening to. Mike Todd, I call him my big brother. Bishop Jakes, I call him my grandfather. It's so many things where the word of God and then words of encouragement are still accessible to you. It's literally just a click of a button right now. And so for anybody that's watching, that is my advice to you. Stay with your community, change your environment, and then just get that word of the Lord and then word of encouragement by the click of the buttons.
What's that?
About like reading books are definitely helpful. Like our sister said, devotionals and just reading, period, because reading is a good thing, because it's one thing to take a look at scripture, but then to actually take the in-depth time to really study, meditate, and allow that thing to sink all up into your spirit so you can actually have something to pull back on when stuff goes down.
Yeah, man. I would just say how to encourage other people and self. I would say tap into your source, tap in that meaning, you know, um, for many people on a spiritual level, that's, tapping into God, Jesus, it's like, to me, I feel like 2020 was a perfect time to either rekindle, create, or just fine tune relationship with your source, or your creator, Jesus. um yeah, we can't have the big Thanksgiving, but it's still Thanksgiving. Like, what are we thankful for? The from the big things, to having a house, to, or having shelter, clothing, some sort of food, uh, whether it be a plate of grandiose selections, or if all you got is some peas and carrots. Let me see. Oh yeah, to the big things, to the small things, like, I can wiggle my fingers, take a deep breath, see, wiggle my toes, just from the big to the small things. I know people who have, the pandemic is happening, still going on. So I know people who have, uh, been diagnosed with COVID. I know people who have lost people to COVID. I know just people that may have lost someone just, through natural occurrences, not necessarily pandemic based, but there's other illnesses that still exist besides COVID. So
Yeah.
so yeah, man, just I always tell people too, like, of course, never give up. Um, Never give up. Find your source, your inspiration. Um, there's, oh man, it's a lot of things to do. I actually have a list of things to do. I don't know if this is particularly that question, but yeah, like I said, I think I'll stick to the Thanksgiving. It's still Thanksgiving. Tap into your source. You have to tap into yourself a little bit and kind of search yourself, like, okay, what am I thankful for? What am I grateful for? What do I have going on? What can I continue to build? I may have lost some things this year, or lost some people, but all of the, life is a learning experience. Um, Take it one day at a time. Everything will be okay. Boom. Yes. Hmm.
That's that's good. That is all good. Definitely having that prayer time with God, definitely getting that clarity. I like what Epiphany said about writing down. That's been one of my biggest things that's encouraging me, because there's a million things thrown at us from all sides. When you write stuff down, it clears your head. Like, that just says, okay, let me write this down. Now that's out of my head, and now I got room for something else, for peace, for clarity. One thing that I started doing was, and you touched on it a little bit, Phil, when you said get that self time. But that's but for me, and my wife asked a question too, like, what can we? The next question I'm gonna kind of bring up is, what can we do to keep ourselves moving forward? Something that I had to do, because like, there's like a million things going on, good and bad, nothing like crazy, but just the state of the world, and being in ministry and owning a business and having a family, a lot is going on. I had to force myself. I told myself I was gonna do this for like a month. I finally started doing it. Was getting up early, and I was like, I'm gonna get up at 5. And I said, no, 5 is not enough. I'm gonna get up at 4 o'clock, because I need that much time. Need to spend with the Lord and get my stuff done. Having that time to yourself, because after a long day of working and being out, and you come home, you're just resting, but you don't have the mental clarity like you do when you first wake up. So my encouragement for you guys is, if you can get up an hour or two earlier, just to spend time with the Lord, just to spend time with just yourself. Just sit there and think, like literally take 20, 30 minutes and just sit there and thought without saying anything. Like it will do something for you. It will lift you up. It will change some things mentally for you. I feel like a totally different person. Even from the start of this, the conversation with you guys encouraging me all this time to still doing it. Those little habits that you build up over time can really get you into a place of like mental clarity. And then don't take anything to heart. Just my other thing out before we get to the next part is don't take anything to heart. Everyone is on edge. Somebody needs to be there to empathize with people. Someone needs to be there to be that voice. Like we know we're going through our stuff, but like taking offense to everything that's going on out there, somebody has to be that person that's gonna, in a polite way, be like, I don't care. Like you can disagree with me, you can have all this kind of stuff, but having that peace of mind and being that person that's like, hey, I know you 100% disagree with anything I'm saying, but I'm still gonna respect you at the end of this conversation. Just being that kind of vulnerable, open person gives you clarity, and then you don't know what it's gonna do for that person. But those are kind of my two things. But what kind of advice can we give to help people to keep moving forward? Like, it's been a long 2020. It's almost over. Like, I know I said encouragement, but like, what else can what can get to that person to the next step?
I guess I would say, aside from what you said, because that morning meditation, starting that day off with just getting clear on which direction you're going, what's your focal point for the day, everything. Like it helps drive that intention. I would say ways that can help keep people going is I write I'm a writer, right? So words are my world. So I have to put like writings in places where I am the most. So in my bathroom and in my kitchen, all you see is motivational quotes all around. You see motivational quotes, you see things that I'm studying, because you got to keep it like in your eye gates and your ear gates, right? And so sometimes it's not enough just to hear it, you got to see it too. And so like on days when I'm like, man, I just don't feel like doing this, I look up and the first thing I see is a message that's coming back at me to tell me like, yes, it does. Like your feelings are legitimate. However, your feelings cannot stop you right now, because this is just the journey that you're going through. You know what I'm saying? And I think one thing I wanted to add as well was if you're having trouble with that morning routine of like what to fill your head with, there are different meditation apps, and you can even just type in YouTube like 5-minute Christian meditations. I do Abide. I'm sorry, I don't know about anything else, but I do Abide meditations, and they work really well for me. I have y'all probably won't be able to see this, but this is one of my papers right here where I go through a 5-step process in the morning of how to reduce that anxiety. Again, like it's all over the house, so it's not, I can never get away from it. And I think just putting yourself, going back to environment, putting yourself in a place where you can never get away from that encouragement will eventually, your mind will start to pick up that language, and it'll eventually start to shift everything else within you. So.
One thing I will say too is remember why you're doing what it is you're doing. In my case, I can say, for example, in addition to my tent making job, I said I work with campus ministry, work with college students. And when the pandemic hit, I was reminded of the fact that the mission didn't stop, just the method. The mission itself was still going, like the whole students are still being reached, students are still being transformed. We still doing it, understand that the things I'm doing are bigger than just me, myself, and I. And the next thing I would also add to it, because everybody's talked about getting up, and I don't have a choice in this season because my tent making job has me at work at 4 a.m. That's when I'm at work. Like, this is pushing it right here, but I said yes to this. But That's when I'm already there. But fortunately the store is not open when I first get there. So after that first crowd of people's come in, I can play some work music. I have a little bit of space that's quiet, that's mine before people start rolling in. And so there's even quiet parts during the day because it's not like people are constantly with what my current responsibilities don't have me around people 24/7. So I'm able to give myself necessary space to do things while I'm at work. And then write the vision, make it plain, write some to go back and take a look at, like, okay, what are you supposed to be doing right now? Understanding that if you don't do what it is you told the Lord you was going to do, understand that there's people in place waiting for you to do what you said you was going to do. There's individuals, like, for example, Maurice, like, there's people that's been waiting for this show. They've been waiting for this conversation. They need to see some other folks having the conversation. So it's like when we don't feel like doing it, it's like, well, wait a minute, like, there's people out here that need what it is the Lord done put in us. Because it's always bigger than us.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have my couple dollars. Me personally, when I get up in the morning, working out. You know, I have a house in home routine because I haven't touched the gym since March of this year. So,
I mean,
yeah, I mean, but some people have, and I know people who have, and much respect.
Right.
Like, I want to, but yeah, not yet. So, so yes, okay. So waking up, working out, reading. I like to read and create affirmations. So I guess that's reading and writing. You know, and the reading could be like self-help books, you know, religious texts, or, you know, Bibles. Yeah, boom. Let's see. Spending that time to self too, whether that be with journaling, meditation, prayer. I find that in 2020 helped me realize this too, that your mornings are it's very sacred time. You know, I feel like mornings and night, early in the morning and late at night when you're about to go to sleep, it's like two sacred times, because they really, the early morning really directs the trajectory of your day. So, you know, just encouraging people to be mindful, aware of, you know, how they conduct their morning and kind of plan it out, because it can help transform, you know, mindset, spirit in the day, and prepare you for what may happen during the day. I also have a list. It has read a book, few pages every day. People can learn a new language. You can pick up a new hobby. You can take a new course, you know, educate yourself on something you may or may not wanted to do before, or something you need to do. Let me see. It says create inspirational room. So when I hear that, it's just like almost like the sister, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. It's horrible. But like the sister said, just writing things, and, you know, where she goes in the house, there's like things written up. So it's like creating inspirational room inside of your space, inspirational environment to help you, you know, just to bring things back to memory, think of new things, remember things. Let me see. Exercise routine, write a letter to yourself. Let me see. Accept new challenges. Focus on your to-do list. Acknowledge your flaws, and, you know, get to action with, you know, edifying yourself or looking deep into self. And so yeah, those are some things that I would suggest people can do to, move forward and to look forward to the day, the week, the month, and 2021.
I want to reiterate some of the things that like you all kind of said that's very important. So people that are listening, because I also put this on my podcast and my YouTube, and it's live now. So I just want to reiterate like one crucial thing that happens: getting up early, having that private time, and writing things down. That private time, writing things down. I think some people don't realize how important that is. Like getting those thoughts out there, and then constantly encouraging yourself. Even the word of God says, we must renew our mind daily. And what does that look like? Like, even if it's repeating the same scripture. And I was talking about this like a week or two ago, where I was like, your encouragement from yesterday ain't gonna help you today. You gotta give yourself that same encouragement, and it's gonna have that domino effect. And so anybody out there that's listening to what we're saying right now, if it's like a struggle for you, it is important that you write it down and you see it. Because, and I'll say even on the negative side, like with everything that's happening in the news and social media, people don't know what to believe, but they're believing something, even if they know it's fake, even if they know it's not real, because it's being displayed in front of you over and over and over again. It gets in your thought process, it gets in your mind. You're like, why am I thinking about this? Because it's always in the news. Why am I always stressed about COVID? Because it's always in the news, right? You got to combat that with your own mentality. You're gonna have people gonna be like, why are you always positive? Why are you always encouraged? Because you do that like every day. And if you need like a quick formula, I read this book. I think it was it was one of these books, either The Law of Success or I'm reading so many books right now.
One of these books, people maybe.
Yeah, it was that, or it was Focus, The Power of Focus.
Okay.
But they're all like around the same, or like The Power of Positivity or something like that. They're all around the same concept. But one of them said, in your first hour a day, do the 20-20-20 rule. 20-20-20 rule is the first 20 minutes, wake up your body with exercise, as Brother Phil was saying. So the first 20 minutes stretch, exercise. All you really need is 15-20 minutes a day to get your body going. The next 20 minutes is get your mind right. And that's like your time, like Epiphany is saying, a time of meditation, time of prayer. Just have that time of just silence, just sit there quietly, or pray, or meditate on the word, or just meditate, just affirmations. I'll always plug in affirmations or prayer in that part. And then like even Kevin was saying, talking about like learn something, or if Phil was talking about too, learning something new, or intentionally reading your word, or practicing something different. So the last 20 minutes, you're working on that to-do list. Knock out the first thing on that to-do list, or read something new, or study something new, or listen to a podcast, or listen to a sermon. And you do that first hour of the day, workout, prayer, and then learn something new. That's like your first hour done. And it worked out. It's working out for me tremendously. I'm like getting ahead of schedule of stuff that I'm doing. So that's me wrapping up what everybody said. It's something that you can actually do. So you can write it down. Okay, my first hour of the day, I'm gonna start waking up at 5 o'clock or 4:55. Wake up, 5 o'clock, gym or in-home living room workout. 5:20. Okay, this is my meditation. I'll put some inspirational music on in the background while I'm focusing on God. 5:40. Okay, I'm gonna read this book today. The Power of Focus, or the Book of John, or whatever, or work on my business for 20 minutes, and then attack your day. Hopefully that was helpful to somebody. Now I kind of want to transition. We're getting closer to we're not almost wrapping up, but those that have lost people in this year. Like I lost an aunt myself earlier this year. Wasn't due to COVID, but like as Phil said, there are other illnesses and diseases out there besides COVID. But people have lost family to COVID. I lost people, a lot of close people in ministry that I looked up to and that I knew. So some people are having Thanksgiving and Christmas for the first time without some people that they saw last year. What can we speak to those people to encourage them? I know this is a bombshell, but like, what can you?
I would say first,
Sorry about that.
first to those people, definitely we would send our condolences, because we definitely want to empathize. And with that, I would say, give yourself time. I mean, when you're talking about loss, it's equated to grief. And grief is one of those things that is very, very tricky. Like sometimes you will go years before you ever even experience grieving the loss of someone. And that just depends on how emotionally connected you are to yourself, where you let yourself feel things and you let yourself express those emotions. And then some days, it's a weight. I would say to anybody that is celebrating the holidays, without that person, definitely, keep them in your mind. Definitely just work to focus on the good times that you have had with those people. And then work to work to uh, appreciate the relationships that you do still currently have. And so maximize, the time that you have with people who are, still with you to celebrate the holidays.
Right. I was also going to say, in addition to what Miss Epiphany said, if we know them personally, we should do our part and reach out to them. Obviously, like it's been stated, people are on their own schedule when it comes to things. But I've been repeatedly told, and when you've dealt with your own loss, when you've dealt with people that have had loss, asking somebody what you can do for them is not what you want to do. They already got enough going on with them. So if you want to do something for them, you either need to just go ahead and do it, or you need to be specific. I can come over and cut your yard. I can come over and watch the kid. Like, you give specific things so that way they can decide whether or not they actually need. Don't make them have to think about more stuff that they got to do. If we're going to come alongside them, like help them out, let's walk through the process with them. Because, like even Scripture says, when it comes to those of us who are within the body, when one member suffers, the whole of us suffer. And Romans 12 talks about how we're supposed to rejoice with those who rejoice and learn how to weep with those who weep. So we don't want people to think that they're in their situation by themselves, especially if we have close enough proximity to where we can actually be present and do some things.
I'll say to add to that, I'm gonna say what somebody told me that really changed my perspective on things when it comes to grief. It's really just it's okay to feel, like, and if you haven't like if this is you and like you lost someone this year, you lost your grandmother, lost your cousin, lost your best friend, whatever the situation may be, and you feel like you haven't really fully grieved yet, just like I know it sounds crazy, but just let it all in. Like just you know, allow yourself to grieve, feel, cry, and get to that place where like you acknowledged it. Because what some people do that goes to like them grieving for like a year or 2 years, it's like they're sorrowful, but then they try to hold it, back. They try to be strong for their family, or try to be strong for themselves for whatever reason. But I say, just get vulnerable and just be like, look, and that's where writing comes in again. Like, write a "I miss you" letter, and like, put it somewhere, or like to throw it away after you wrote it out. So like you can get it or leave it at the graveside, or whatever. But empathize with yourself. We gotta be empathetic towards those that are out there, but you gotta empathize with yourself, let it out, and that should bring you to a place quicker than if you try to hold it all in. So that's what I would encourage. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do. Don't worry about people like, oh, you've been in it too long. Just take that one moment, just let it all out, and get to where you can be in a good place. Um, and then the last thing I want to, hopefully that was encouraging. Anybody want to add anything before I do my last question? Because I know
Okay.
Go.
One more thing I'll say that we talked about game session is that for people who are grieving, you're gonna go through some form of grief for the rest of your life because that loss is gonna be there. It's not like one day you're gonna wake up and they're gonna return, and all of a sudden that the process is gonna stop. It could be obviously over time, things get better. You're able to function, you're able to do things, but there's always going to be a space for those individuals that are no longer present with you. So we need to, like Maurice said, allow people to feel all the feelings.
It's okay to cry.
Right.
Okay to cry.
Whether it's your first year or your 10th or 15th or 20th. Because I mean, those things run deep, especially when it's a spouse or say it's a brother, even a best friend, somebody who, because I mean, if it was an intimate acquaintance, y'all probably sat together and wrote out some plans. You probably was working on some things together. You may have been in the middle of doing some things together, so that as those things still continue to move on and you're still doing the things, you're probably thinking like, what would it be like if this person was still here? What would it be like if we were doing this? So, I mean, don't allow nobody to trick you into the state of there's something wrong with you because of what's going on. Like, they're not the ones they didn't suffer the loss, you did.
Yeah.
So they don't get to tell you how you're supposed to handle it.
Yeah. Do you have anything extra? Oh, well, I want to end with this part, because since we talked about grief, I know a lot of people, in addition to maybe grieving, are dealing with a lot of stress on this time of year. And so I want to kind of end the conversation with strategies or best practices not to stress. And I'll start off, usually I throw the question out there, but I'm gonna start it off because I'm really like big on this one, is don't trip about Christmas. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Don't trip about Christmas, Thanksgiving, especially if you like used to doing a big Thanksgiving meal. We cut our meal in half. We took half the sides off. We weren't doing just turkey. Being resourceful, because you don't have to have that big meal. You don't have to do it. You don't have to have a million presents under the tree. You don't have to do it. You don't have to stretch your pockets to appease your family. I say this is the one year, if 2020 taught us anything, it's rejoice in the goodness of the Lord that he brought you through. If you got to end the year with doing nothing but praising God and Jesus with your family, I encourage you to do that. Plus, your finances are going to be blessed and your family is going to be blessed, and you're going to have such a peace. And take care of your health. Take care of your mental health, your spiritual health, your financial health. Take care of those things. And then whatever else you got going on.
So I'm going to piggyback off of what Maurice just said. Take care of your health, your financial health, by educating yourself. We have a lot of resources that are available to you. You can literally go to Instagram and type in investing, money education, anything. I mean, there are just accounts that are set up and specifically designed to drop videos, give you links to resources for how you can educate yourself on being able to make and manage your money. Like Maurice said, I'm going to piggyback really off of what you said about you don't have to have this grandeur, like you don't have to have grandeur things, although we would like to have those things and we like to show off those things. One thing I want to say is you are worthy, right? And so with you being worthy, like you're worthy of not getting into these situations where people have to bail you out or you have to bail yourself out. And so I want whoever is listening to remember that you are worthy of not being in situations that put strains on you. Like one of the major way that a lot of Americans are stressing, and this is all over the globe, this is all over the globe, is through these finances,
Right.
And if 2020 has taught us anything, it is please get your financial education. Please cut the fat where you need to, and store up for days that are coming that we may not expect. And I just have to be honest with that, because if you think 2020 was bad, then prepare for you and your family to be in a better position for 2021. Because I mean, I don't want to get into a political conversation right here, but I'm just going to say, make sure that you take care of you and your household by getting that financial education and remembering that you and your household are worthy for you not to be in situations where you have financial strain.
I mean, as far as your last comment, all people need to do right now is just look at the headlines, look at what's going on, pay attention. Your surroundings, like natural sense. You pay attention to your natural surroundings. So in the other sense, pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to what's happening. And in addition to paying attention to your surroundings, also in addition to taking advantage of getting financially educated, also understand the fact that there are more than one ways to get you some income. And it ain't gonna happen overnight, but there's more than one way to do it. And so now we in a time when we can do it. Like I've heard testimonies of folk during the pandemic having to stay their tail up in the house and was still making it do what it do 2 and 3, 4 times over. So I mean, learning just like you had to get educated for your finances, get educated on how to do it. Because I mean, some of the stuff, it takes learning some new things, or it takes keeping what you already had, but learning how to make it go to work for you.
So I'm gonna end with this. My wife just sent me this because she's a nurse, retired nurse, but still a nurse because people still call her out. but she did want me to share with you guys that it is a serious thing, especially when it comes to stress. There are a lot of illnesses, a lot of sicknesses that are associated with stress. If you get rid of stress, half of the illnesses that are out there are stress related. You can go down the list, whatever first disease come to mind is probably stress related. but in this time especially, it can lead to heart attack, it can lead to stroke. So we're not just saying, you gotta get rid of stress, but we're, warning you, if you don't want to have a heart attack at 18 or a stroke at 24, in the middle of a pandemic, you want to get serious about getting your mind right, getting everything right. And then, as they were alluding to, be aware of your surroundings. And I'm gonna close with this one last little part. With being aware of your surroundings, I don't want to make it a big thing, but like, take a break from social media in this last month of the year. Besides watching the conversation, I know you guys are gonna like and subscribe and share this. We're gonna be here on Mondays at 7:00. So that's the only time you need to go on social media. Besides that, log off your social media. I guarantee you the time that you're going to spend getting to know yourself and not knowing what's on the timeline is going to change your life. And I encourage you, I'm going to challenge all of you. I'm challenging myself, maybe delete the apps off your phone. If you want to go into it, go to Google and log in that way if you really need to go on. But if you delete the apps off your phone, take a fast from it for the remainder of the year, you're going to go in 2021 a whole different person. It changed for me just the last 2 weeks because, people getting crazy with that election. Not talking about the election, but just logging off during that time, man, my mind is at such peace. Glory to God. But any last comments or any words of encouragement before we close out?
Drink water. We've been talking about health.
Yep.
Drink your water. Drink more water than you drink anything else. Because water helps clear, water helps flush, water helps do all that stuff. Like you talked about stress. A lot of times drinking water, it's not the end all be all, but it can definitely put you on the path to avoid some of those things. So drink some water and
the living water too.
Yes, hallelujah. Yes, get in that word, John chapter 4. Get in there and drink from the well of Jesus. But yeah, that too. And I mean, learn how to be present because, like you said, get away from social media. Plus, with the way this thing's set around, some of the stuff, even as a campus minister, the stuff that I would normally be looking forward into heading into Christmas and heading to the New Year has been postponed. And it's even when it does happen, it's going to be a different setup than in previous years. So we really do have some intentional downtime to get still and get quiet once the semester officially wraps in a couple weeks.
Tiffany, anything last comments?
My comment is more so for the people whose family dynamics are different. And what I mean when I say is that people who haven't been in touch with their family, for whatever reasons, surround yourself by community that's supportive of you and that is going to help you, help to point you in the right direction. Don't shy away from community. Don't be by yourself during these holidays. And I know a lot of times, again, like we talked about, it can feel very lonely, but be around community that supports you. And I'll definitely be in prayer for people whose family dynamics are a lot different.
Amen.
I'll say real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say
real quick because they got a rare video.
Right. During this season, that's been one of the crucial things is having those people open their arms during this time. So I'm just echoing Miss Epiphany. Get on top of that community. Don't leave it by the wayside.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I know Phil had to step out, but I'm glad he shared the wisdom that he did while he was here. Thank you, Epiphany. Thank you, Kevin, for joining in. That's a great place to end this. So thank you guys for watching. If you listening to this later, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow our podcast that Change the Narrative on all platforms. And as always, be encouraged, be blessed, be inspired. Until next time on The Conversation.